going on, Jerome? So Cameron, Beasy, Bynum will always have some good memories. The former Cal cornerback turned safety was really fantastic for the Vikings. Him and Metellus, the turnover sellies, that they were great. But the business is the business, and Beasy got paid $15 million per year in his contract with the Colts, where, I don't know, even though Bynum's life is a movie, I don't know if they allow cinema in Indiana. Anyways, but Cameron Bynum was on Good Morning Football, and he had some amazingly high praise things to say about Vikings' new franchise quarterback, JJ McCarthy. Now, the host tried to get him to say something to prop up Aaron Rodgers. Also, the whole Cal connection, too. It's funny, but Beasy is firmly behind JJ McCarthy. He said this, quote, I trust him, JJ McCarthy. JJ is somebody that I trust is just a leader, first and foremost. The way that, even though when he came in, he was still a young guy, still competing with Sam Darnold, but the way that he carried himself, just as a leader, but also following the right way and still listening and humbling himself to learn from the other guys. And you saw this at Michigan, too. JJ McCarthy came in as a true freshman and took over that team and was a true alpha male. Like, basically, he's saying, like, hey, you're coming to Michigan to win. You're not coming to party. You're not do anything. You're going to get on my page. This is my team. We're going to do all this stuff, right? And it's a little bit different when you're a 21-year-old kid coming into a locker room full of grown-ass men. But I feel like the leadership aura is there. Like, you could tell. Like, he was no shrinking violet, but also he acquiesced to the existing leadership power structure, right? Because there's nothing worse than to veterans than some young kid coming in here thinking that he invented football. So the fact that Beasy specifically said listening and humbling himself, that's fantastic. And in a major way, that is true leadership, especially as someone new to our organization. But the one thing that stood out to me from him, as soon as he got in, he was throwing that ball. When I saw him throw that ball, he was a gunslinger in practice, 1st and 10, simple concept. I was told reliably from people who didn't watch Michigan football that he was just a handoff merchant. And Jim Harbaugh basically had to run the Delaware wing tee because J.J. McCarthy couldn't throw the ball through a piss-soaked paper bag. I was told that. Please. And that's something I respected out of a rookie. And then going forward after his injury, he's sitting there in the defensive team meeting room with us and trying to learn our defense and just try to learn any way he can. And that's something, too, that Flores talked about, where even in training camp and especially after the injury, like JJ McCarthy would bother the bejesus out of him just asking questions because he wants to know. Because Brian Flores' defense is one of the most complicated and sophisticated in the National Football League. There's lots of discussion, and McCarthy talked about this too in training camp, where that he was excited to get to preseason so he didn't have to face the Flores defense in game situations all the time, where you're going to see everything. Disguises, mixing up coverages, and it really is just it is great practice for the tests on game day, because in games, any other team in the league, it's not going to be as complicated as what you see from Flores. And I think that's awesome. Plus, as a young kid, where top 10 drafted guy, he could have had an ego, and it could have been all woe is me, and he could have been a drain on the team, just sort of a wet blanket and whining. But no, he didn't put the focus on himself. He was in the facility, he was on the sidelines, but he was low-key and didn't make it all about himself, and he was working on rehab, working on learning the offense with the whole VR headset, working on learning the defense just by applying himself, which is good to see. He's kind of a maniac when it comes to just football overall. So I think the way that he carried himself while he's hurt, I can only imagine how he'll carry himself when he's healthy. When they give him the keys to the program to be able to go and just carry himself as that leader, they let him know, you're the guy we're rolling with. So I think JJ is going to grow, and that's somebody, like I said, I can trust. I love that. I freaking love that. I love Beasy. Plus, Beasy obviously still has, guys in the organization, and the fact that you're the guy that we're rolling with all the random media speculation going around, it's absolutely true. And just love this connection, because I know people are like, well, what if he busts? What if he doesn't? What if J.J. McCarthy does not bust? What if he becomes a perennial Pro Bowl, All-Pro quarterback, winning the Vikings Super Bowls? He and Kevin O'Connell are in purple, entrenched together, because continuity is low-key one of the greatest competitive advantages in the National Football League, because a lot of teams do not have it, and especially at the two most important spots, head coach / offensive play caller and quarterback one. It's huge. It's absolutely huge, man. And he needs to work out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to eat a lot of poop. Like me, Thor, Tom Brady, Kevin O'Connell are going to have to eat a lot of poop, but I don't think we're going to have to. I think we'll pass on the poop. We'll pass on the poo-poo platter because JJ McCarthy, he's different, yes, but different in all the ways that will make him successful in the National Football League. Also successful in life. I feel like he has a great disposition. I think that he has a great way of looking at the world, all the Stoic philosophy, amor fatties, and all that stuff. But also, you can tell like he has a vindictive streak. Like all of the negative press, all of the talk about Aaron Rodgers, you know that he's just filing that away and just going to use it for motivation. Like just like Tom Brady and the Brady Six. Like you drafted Spurgeon win in front of me? How are you going to do that? And it fueled him in his entire career. I feel like JJ McCarthy is going to take his injury season as well as all the Rodgers speculation personally and just go out and light it up. He's going to be great. I love it, man. But also, big props to Cameron Beasley Bynum. Like, still got love for this organization and his teammates, and also is calling a spade a spade. I think he's absolutely correct about what's going to happen with JJ McCarthy. Can't wait. Can't wait, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Cameron Bynum Beasley talks about Vikings quarterback 1, JJ McCarthy. Woo! Love it. Let us know your thoughts, comment section. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.